Hey guys, welcome into Fantasy Football Academy 2020. As always, I'm your host, the Dean. Hey, look, Dean took a hard, bad beat this past week, and I skipped out with a win in the other league just to show you guys how extreme you can be in fantasy football. You can have 1 week where, actually 1 league where you think you do everything right, and it still winds up losing, and then you do something horribly wrong, and you actually win out pulling out a victory. You get bailed out at Monday night. Look, last time we were talking, well, actually 2 episodes ago, we were talking about big trades, trading big names, and what you need to look for. Well, one of those trades for me came through. I was able to, I traded away Big Ben and Raheem Mostert, but I got Kenyon Drake and Robert Woods, both of which paid off for me. Kenyon Drake paid off huge in my listener league with 103.7 The Game here in Lafayette. Got me the win, even though I know you're going to shoot me for this one. I didn't start Julio Jones. Killed me. Look, I was waiting for Julio to come back and prove it. Look, I'm from Missouri. You got to show me, okay? So, actually, I was born in Missouri. I'm from Maryland. So, and yes, I live in Louisiana. I know it's messed up. So, geographically speaking, I should be a Rams fan or a Cardinals fan because both were actually in St. Louis. But I grew up in Maryland and I live in Louisiana, so I could justify Saints. But you guys know I rep my Washington team. So, anyway, yeah. Seeing Julio go off pained me, and I was praying that I could just pull out something with Kenyon Drake. Well, Kenyon, thank you so much. And if you guys don't know, Kenyon actually tweeted out that he wanted an apology to all of his fantasy owners who were doubting him and questioning his output this season, earlier in the season. And he said, "Go ahead, trade me and bless someone else in your league." So guess what? I got blessed not once but twice. Both of my leagues I was able to get Kenyon Drake. So, or actually, sorry, one of my leagues I was able to get Kenyon Drake. I did get blessed by Robert Woods in both leagues. So this week we're talking about start sits. Now, last time we talked about how sorry guys, hold on 1 second. Sorry, I had to update the wife. So, like I said, last time what we were talking about is we were talking about my hits and misses. And look, everybody's going to have these, okay? You're going to listen to any kind of program, and it's all about environmental roster management. Whether they want to preach it or not, whether they want to show you or not, they're going to try to throw stats at you to back up their argument. I'm telling you right now, guys, it's so up and down in the NFL, it's not even funny. There are guys who are consistently good and consistently bad, but then you have these guys who are just up and down. I mean, look at Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is, 1 week he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. The next minute he's hurt or he's on the bench or he's just not being targeted. He's being shut down, and it's Michael Gallup and it's CeeDee Lamb. So I bring those up because those are 3 that you have to choose from, and you basically have to pick your poison on who you want to play. If you have, I know in our league of record, I got beat this past week, not only by Dallas's wide receivers, but I also got beat by Dallas's quarterback because he threw 2 picks, and the person that I was playing, hey Chris, good game. He had not only both wide receivers, 2 wide receivers for Dallas, he also had Arizona's defense. And Andy Dalton's 2 picks is what killed me. If Dalton had just had a bad game, fine. But he had 2 picks, and those 4 points added up to my loss this week. So That being said, one of my starts for the week in defense is definitely Washington, and they're actually my streamer of the week in defense as well. So let's get into it. Sorry, I hit the table, guys. Shaky there. Okay, so Matt Ryan going up against the Lions. Look, both Matts are my starts of the week in this matchup. Matt Stafford going up against Atlanta. Matt Ryan going up against the Lions. Dan Quinnless Falcons have looked much better than the Dan Quinn anchored Falcons. Okay. Matt Ryan, look, Matt Ryan's going to get his. He's got Julio, he's got Ridley, he's got Gage. Even Todd Gurley's going to make an appearance on this episode. And if you guys had watched any of the draft season episodes of Fantasy Football Academy 2020, subscribe, like, and share. Check them out if you didn't. You guys know that I'm not big on Todd Gurley because I don't believe you can trust him. He has been steady this year. So next week, we're about halfway through the season right now, the fantasy season. We're going to look at next week. We're going to go back and we're going to look at guys who I was high on in the draft and guys I was low on in the draft and some of the guys that we missed. So that being said, my third, and remember, guys, I always give you three. You 3 hits, 3 hit misses on each position. Joe Burrow is actually transferring from the sit to the start this week. So last week, we had him as a sit, and let me check it out because if memory serves correctly, I did get him. Yes, I did get him on my my hit of the week. I told you to sit him. He got 6.72 points. Now, with Joe Burrow sitting last week against a Colts defense that has been absolutely stellar, both against the run and the pass, he's going up this week against Cleveland, second time. Look, the first time he was balling out, but they lost. This time around, Baker doesn't really look like himself. If you guys saw the game this week, something's off. He got a little dinged up. He was slow to get up. So I don't know what's going on with Cleveland, but I do know it's not good for fantasy. So if Baker if he's in the game, I know that he had an injury, and they were talking about shoulder. They were talking about ribs. So anytime your quarterback has injuries like that, it's always a red flag. Okay. So Joe Burrow, I think, can go into this game, can ball out. He's already shown that he is who the Bengals thought he was. So with that being said, go ahead and start Joe Burrow with all confidence. The guy you want to sit, Cam Newton. I don't know what's going on with Cam. If anybody can fix it, it's Bill Belichick. But does he have the patience? Everybody knows from his time in Carolina that Cam does get in these valleys, I guess, and where he starts to pout, he starts to, act like a little spoiled 2-year-old. So is this one of his tantrums? And he's going to get San Francisco. And I know that San Fran is hurt, and I know that San Fran has been dealing with a lot of injuries, a lot of turnover in different positions. But I'm telling you right now, Shanahan and the organization, John Lynch at the GM position, all these guys in that organization are doing a really good job keeping everything together. Look, they benched Jimmy G 2 weeks ago against Miami when they took that bad loss. This past week against a Rams team that I thought was going to absolutely ball out against San Fran, they didn't do too bad, and they wound up winning. So with that being said, I think that Cam Newton going up against San Fran is not a good start for you. Also, Ryan Tannehill against Pittsburgh. Look, let's pull this up real quick, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about here. And you guys might be saying, hey, Dean, I thought Ryan Tannehill was, was a good quarterback, that he was, on the uptick. Well, that might be true. And he might be somebody that you could stream from week to week. He is up there, but I'm telling you right now, you go down here and let's look at his past production. Okay. Against Denver, adequate, 23, good. A Jacksonville team, 34 points. But look at the score. It was 33-30. He had to do that. Okay. This is not one of those games where Derrick Henry ran for 200 yards. Okay. He threw 4 touchdown passes. In this past game, over 364 yards against a Houston team that's not very good. So, with that being said, look at Pittsburgh. He gets Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Chicago. I think once he gets past Pittsburgh, the next 2 games, he's definitely a streamable option. But then he gets Indy and Baltimore, and then Indy again. So I'm not really seeing where you can actually roster or start him on a weekend, just lock him in week in, week out, and go, that's my guy. I can roll with him, because the matchups just are not good. Now, after he gets past Indy in week 12, by all means, if you want to roll into the playoffs with Ryan Tannehill, go right ahead. I have absolutely no problem with that. I do believe he should be rostered, but he should only be started when the matchup is favorable. Okay. This is not one of those guys like Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, even Josh Allen. And Josh Allen and Mahomes both really disappointed last night. Okay. These guys were just absolutely horrible, but you got to look at the environment. Look at the environment. Look what happened in that game. That game was bad weather. It was raining in Buffalo. It was a really bad situation for them to be in, and all they did was run the ball. So that's what we're going to be talking about when we hit running backs and CEH. By the way, the CEH take that I had did wind up being a miss for me, but I'm telling you right now that at a record high 26 attempts, he had 161 yards, 0 touchdowns. Okay. There's no way that CEH in that offense is going to get 26 touches with Le'Veon Bell coming in and taking all that away. Okay. This is what I'm talking about when I say environmental roster management. I'm not just talking about the environment of the team. I'm talking about the environment of the game as well. When it's raining, when it's inclement weather, all of your running backs are going to get an uptick in volume. What they do with that volume is totally up to them. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when it gets colder, and I'm borrowing this from the fantasy footballers, Derrick Henry turns into Derrick Yeti. Okay. He gets better when it gets colder. Apparently, it's gotten colder, because he had 212 yards. He ripped off a 94-yard touchdown. So he is just getting better and better as the season goes on. What does that mean? That means that Ryan Tannehill later in the season is going to be phenomenal for you going into the fantasy playoffs. So what I'm telling you, go out and get Ryan Tannehill. Okay? I know I am. That's only because I traded away Lamar Jackson, who is not doing that well. And I know you guys might be saying, well, hey, Dean, you got to be crazy trading away Lamar Jackson. Let's look down here. Number one, I wouldn't be able to use him this week anyway. He's on a bye. And you're like, yeah, well, everybody gets a bye. Yes. But when you draft someone as high as I drafted, as you have to draft Lamar Jackson, regardless of what league you're in, you had to draft him 2nd or 3rd round. Okay. You had to draft him back into the 2nd because he wasn't going to make it back to you, or you had to draft him early in the 3rd round because, again, he wasn't going to make it back to you. So week 1, you were feeling pretty good. Weeks 2 and 3, you were feeling horrible. Week 4 was an automatic start against Washington. Then he hit Cincinnati with 17 points. And I want you guys to look at something else here too. His rushing yards, 108 against Philly with 1 TD. He had 186 passing yards. Okay, guys, I'm telling you right now that this right here should concern you, because anytime your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, doesn't top 200 yards but twice, and that was early in the season, something is going to be very, very wrong for you, okay? Yeah, that wasn't a good thing. I can get better production out of, different positions, and I can get adequate production from another quarterback, okay? I can stream quarterbacks. Look, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, Fitzpatrick and Mahomes both scored 33 points. 33. So you telling me that the 2nd or 3rd round quarterback that I had to pay up for, I can get the same production from an undrafted quarterback? Nobody wanted Fitzpatrick, but everybody loves this guy. He's productive, okay? He was so productive that they got Tua in against it was against the Jets, but still, okay, he still is putting up numbers. So let's get into running backs. Antonio Gibson against Dallas. Guys, an automatic start, okay? I know J.D. McKissick came in last week, so, there's a little question there, but I believe Antonio Gibson is going to make a bounce back against Dallas. Also, Le'Veon Bell's first game against Denver, a Von Millerless Denver. They've only got to worry about Chubb on the one side, okay? So I don't think that I know that CEH is not going to be making an appearance on this one. If you were looking for the production that you got out of CEH this week, keep looking, because he's actually on my sit list. This is going to be the Le'Veon Bell show. And if you remember what I just said, 161 yards, 0 touchdowns. Guys, when you run for 161 yards, you should at least have 1 TD in there somewhere. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, he's only got 2 on the season. That's not what you drafted this guy for. Okay, that's not what you paid up for. If you were drafting CEH, you were drafting him in the 1st and 2nd round. Okay, that's not what you're looking for. Todd Gurley versus, Detroit. Guys, it's Detroit. Okay, this game could get way out of hand really quick. Okay, my streamable is also in this game, DeAndre Swift. Remember, I told you last time that if you're looking to see what they're doing between AP and Swift, this is the game to look for. This is the game to look and go, okay, I can get something out of Swift. I can stream them if I'm hurting. The bye weeks are coming up. By the way, your byes this week, Minnesota, Miami, and Baltimore, and the Colts. So you're talking, you're losing Lamar, you're losing the Colts defense, Baltimore's defense, all the receiving options, Thielen and Jefferson on Minnesota. Miami, you're losing Fitzpatrick, you're losing Parker, you're losing Gaskin, you're losing Gesicki. If I know you probably didn't like Gesicki's output last week because he got you a big old goose egg, but you're losing a good bit this week, and you're going to be needing some help. Dalvin Cook and Madison. This is good for Cook owners because you only missed him 1 week. He's more than likely going to be back for the for week 8 whenever he plays there. Sorry guys, got a little sniffles today. No, it's not COVID. Stop. Just stop. The wife keeps it really cold in the house, okay? So my sits for running back, Joe Mixon versus Cleveland. And I know you guys are like, Dean, you're hating on Joe Mixon. No, look, I'm not. Look, and let's pull this up and we'll show you guys, do a little breakdown on Mixon. Here we go. So let's check him out. 6 points, 12 points, 8 points. The 1 week I missed him, 43. I know, sucked. 15 and 14. And I know you're saying, oh, the 15 and the 14 isn't that bad. Okay. And you're right. But I'm telling you right now, when you end up in a tie, you only get 49 yards against a Philly team that's absolutely horrid. Your Cleveland matchup, who is actually who he's matched up with here, he had 46 yards, 40 receiving yards, only got you 12 points. Guys, you can find better options out there, okay? Now, my next one, Chris Carson. I know you guys are going, but wait, they're coming off the bye, and, he's going to come back. Yeah, he's coming back against Arizona, who just basically stifled Zeke Elliott. So let's see. While we're here, let's take a look at Zeke. $49 yards, 31 receiving, and yes, he lost the ball twice. So don't sleep on Arizona's D, okay, guys? I'm telling you right now. If you go out and you put in Chris Carson, yes, he's probably a locked and loaded player for you. But I'm telling you, if you have a better option, go ahead and use them. If you're wavering between one guy or the other, down below, send me a comment. Give me your choices, and I'll help you out and let you know who you should start, okay? By the way, Pez, how you doing, my man? Pez sent me a message, said that he had Jefferson on his bench. I feel you, brother. I feel you. I had Julio on my other bench, and I was hating life. So sometimes you just got to take your L and move on to the next week. So hit me up if you got any questions about this upcoming week. All right, brother? I've already said CEH against Denver. Look, this is going to be the Le'Veon Bell show. It's going to be a breakout. It's going to be an introduction to the Chiefs. So we'll see how that goes. All right, guys? Wide receiver. McLaurin against Dallas. Look, I know that Washington's quarterback situation is kind of up in the air, and no, I'm not happy about how they handled the end of the game last week, giving the Giants their first win. But McLaurin, again, is the only option in Washington. They're going up against the Dallas defense that's absolutely horrible, and the pass has got to go somewhere. So just on sheer volume, we're talking McLaurin is the man. Now, the next guy I'm going to bring up, it's not going to feel pretty. It's going to be like, going to the prom with your sister or your aunt. All right. So Jamison Crowder versus Buffalo. I know. I can't believe I'm putting a Jet in my start of the week, but I am. Look, they're going to be behind. I don't think that Frank Gore is going to just magically find the fountain of youth and be the running back that he was just because he's playing Buffalo, his old team. So Jamison Crowder is going to get a lot of usage. He's going to get a lot of targets. And again, same thing with McLaurin holds true with Jamison. It's going to be sheer volume. Okay, guys. T. Higgins. Look, a lot of people are not starting T. Higgins. Like, they're rostering him and they're not starting him, and I don't know why. He is either the first or the second option for Joe Burrow. There's some kind of connection there. So if you do not start T. Higgins, you are hurting yourself, especially this week against Cleveland. My sit of the week, OBJ against Cincinnati. I know he blew up last time, but I'm telling you right now, Baker looks off. OBJ, I don't know what's going on with him. He's only had a couple of good games, guys. So don't let that fool you and think that that OBJ is back, because he really was never around. I mean, he give you good, steady production at times, but then he just disappeared. And this is probably going to be one of those disappearing times that he does. Mike Evans versus the Raiders. I know. Look, the hashtag here that I've always had is hashtag trust your gut. My gut's telling me the way that they treated Gronk last game, Brady's feeling bad about getting Gronk out of retirement and them not using him. I've heard everywhere that they're looking for ways to get Gronk involved. That's why Gronk is on my start of the week if you need help at tight end. Okay. I know Cameron Brate is there, but OJ Howard's gone. Okay. So who's he got a better connection with, Brate or Gronk? Yeah. But yeah, Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin back, Scotty Miller's still there. So he likes him, and yeah, he could put up that 2 yards, 2 touchdown line. But I just think that the Raiders are going to come out of this bye that they were on and just be ready. Darius Slayton versus Philly. And I've advocated before that Darius Slayton should be start just because he is probably the best option for a receiver with the Giants, but he is dealing with a foot issue. So if you put him in and he gets knocked out first, second quarter, what good is that to you? Okay. Yes, it's a plus matchup. Yes, it's a good environment, but the environment with his foot, it overrides that. Okay. So remember, safety first. Okay. If you have a better option, and I hope you do, than Darius Slayton, please start them. Tight ends. I've already said Gronk versus the Raiders. There's just something going on after this past game. I saw Gronk getting more involved against Green Bay. I think it'll keep going to the Raiders. Logan Thomas versus Dallas. Look, Logan Thomas, he just finds the end zone. He finds the yardage. So if you need help at tight end, Logan Thomas is definitely your boy. He's my streamer of the week at tight end. And Jonnu Smith is on my sit list. I know you guys are probably going, but Jonnu's awesome. Look, Jonnu had a big game because they had that gadget play at the end that got him the last touchdown that put him over the 20-point mark. And I know even without that touchdown, he had a good showing. But this is Pittsburgh, guys. Let's reel it back in a little bit. Robert Tonyan. And I want to show you guys real quick how quickly this whole Robert Tonyan thing can fall apart. That's why I told you that TJ Hawkinson was the guy to get, not Robert Tonyan. So let's look down here. Look at his production. And you're going, oh, but he got 33 points, so you got 16 points. Yeah, that's great. Tampa Bay's, he had 25. He had 5.5 points. Why? Because, number one, Rodgers was struggling. Number two, Tonyan got dinged up. And most importantly, Devontae Adams is back. That's the only reason why he had 98 and 3 touchdowns, is because Rodgers didn't have anybody else to throw to. Look down here. Let's check out TJ Hawkinson. So TJ Hawkinson almost doubled your points. Yes, it was only 17 yards, but he did have the touchdown. He's had 3 touchdowns this year. Okay. Even when he just has 9 yards and he still finds the end zone, he still has 10 points. Okay. So yes, does he have that big blow up 30-point game on him? No. However, TJ this week, let me see, make sure. Yeah. He's playing Chicago, and then he gets Miami, then on a bye. Then he gets Seattle, Tampa Bay, and San Fran again. And here's the thing, guys, is that if you find a tight end who the quarterback likes, it's all good because they're basically script proof. If the game is a blowout, they're going to be running the ball and they're going to do dink and dunk. Who are they dinking and dunking to? The tight end. If they get down the goal line and they're getting stomped, getting stopped, who are they going to go to? More than likely the tight end. So you find tight end like Hawkinson, go ahead and plug him in. Look, do not be reeled in by that 3-touchdown performance by Robert Tonyan. That was a fluke. It will probably not happen again. Okay, guys? Now, that's probably the kiss of death because as soon as I say that, he's going to come out with like a 4-touchdown performance. But I will stand by my statement and I will stand by my stance on this, okay? Defense to get you guys wrapped up here. Washington versus Dallas. Look, Arizona feasted, and I'm going to pull this up, let you guys know about this. Here's the thing is that this week you've got 3 of the top 5 fantasy defenses on a bye. You've got Baltimore, the Colts, Miami all on a bye. Tampa Bay versus Vegas, the Steelers versus Tennessee. I'm not really happy about that matchup, even though I think Pittsburgh can take that game. You got New England versus San Fran. I'm not really happy about that either. And KC against Denver. So that one is probably going to work out well. Right now, I'm pulling up. Yeah. Arizona had 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries for 15 points, and they only allowed 10 points. So they've only allowed, they've allowed 20 points half the time this year. So Arizona is going up against Seattle this week. Okay. This ain't Dallas, guys. Don't look for them to put up 15 points against Seattle. Now, Seattle's defense, again, horrible. So lay off of them. This one, whoever you have, please light up all your Cardinals against Seattle, line up all your Bills against the Jets, take the Niners defense against the Pats because something's going wrong with Cam Newton. The only thing that bailed him out last week was his legs because he's definitely not able to throw the ball. If you saw the throws that he was letting go last week, nothing was on target, especially in crunch time. They could have won that game, but Cam was just off. So sit the Bucks against the Raiders, sit the Cardinals against Seattle, fire up Washington against Dallas, and fire up the Niners against the Pats. Okay, guys, that's my advice for start sits of the week. My streamers, Derek Carr, I know it's crazy, but this guy is not being rostered. Why? I don't know. But Derek Carr against the Pats. If you want to see what Swift has, fire him up against Atlanta, and then next week set him and wait and see how it goes. My wide receiver, Travis Fulgam for the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, this is going to be the last week that you're going to be able to stream him because you're getting Deshaun Jackson back, barring injury. Okay, guys. You're getting Deshaun Jackson back this week. You're probably going to wind up getting Alshon Jeffries back next week. And then Jalen Reagor is coming back at some point in time. So he might be back for week 9 or week 10. When you get those many guys back that are that talented, Fulgam, I don't care how good he's been producing, is going to fall by the wayside. Okay. As soon as Alshon Jeffries gets back, it's gone. Logan Thomas, I already said, was my stream of the week at tight end. Washington is my defensive stream of the week. And remember your buys: Minnesota, Miami, Baltimore, and Indianapolis. So the Vikes, the Dolphins, and the Ravens and the Colts all on a bye. Please make sure that you're setting your lineup correctly and effectively. Okay, guys. Also, I'm going to point to the Cleveland or the Kansas City game with CEH getting 26 carries and 161 yards with no touchdowns. That was entirely scripted and environmentally driven. Okay. Don't look for it to happen again. It was the most carries he's gotten this year. He had 20 carries in week 1, and everybody was jumping up and down. Oh, hey, I was so happy I drafted CEH. Then fell off a cliff. Okay. He found the end zone twice, if I'm not mistaken, this year. So, CEH owners, I'm sorry. You blew a first or second round pick. Don't worry. I'm in that boat as well. So, with that said, this has been Start Sits for Week 7, Fantasy Football Academy 2020, and I've been the Dean. You guys take care of each other. Leave your comments below. Always, thank you to my sponsors, Zia of Lafayette. Go down and find them off of Doucette Road, right in front of Red's Health Club and behind the Johnson Street Grand Theater, right there on Johnson and Doucette at the intersection. Go behind Drago's and you'll find Zia of Lafayette. Say hi to Tucker and Heath and Leonard, all the guys down there for me. Also, Keller's Bakery, 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway. You can find them on Facebook. And remember, when you order, tell them the Dean sent you. Get you 2 free cookies. And down the bottom, if you don't mind, telling me what flavor you got, guys. Y'all take it easy until next time. I'm the Dean, and this has been Fantasy Football Academy 2020.